Welcome. Let's get into the Wi-Fi Bluetooth connection of the Most High.
We can awake in certain frequencies, move stones. It's the way in which you can create by frequency, by resonance. The universe creates everything through vibration. We work like a battery. So everything that we do normally in our life, like eating, like having sex, like talking, are so powerful. There are only three things from which we can start, then you can do whatever. And the three things, I used to say that there's one for the body, another for the soul, and the other one for the spirit. The first one, which is for the body, is to change the way you eat. Is the most easy and difficult thing at the same time. And it's not about changing the way you eat according to be more spiritual. It's not that. It's about acknowledging what your body is really asking for. And sometimes the body asks for meat. It's not that being much more aware or spiritual, you have to be vegetarian or vegan. This is a completely different thing. When we talk about the consciousness of the universe, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is to do what your body is asking for. And if you're working for your awakening and awareness, your body will stop asking for meat and will start to ask for fruits, plants, seeds. Why? Because to become aware, you need light. And the best beings that can manifest light into matter are the plants. Animals are also light, but distorted with emotions, with their own history, with their own biology. And plants doesn't have that. Plants simply are, and they just breathe light. So if you are trying to make more clear your memory, to awaken and enlighten your DNA, so you need things that manifest light. The other one is breathing. All the hormones of the body are controlled by how you breathe, basically, and how your endocrine system works. So you need to oxygen your blood, your body, everything. And the best way to do it is taking deep breath and not by the mouth. The mouth was meant to be for eating, not breathing. Breathing is only through the nose, in and out from the nose, and very deep from the lower part of the lungs. So that would calm the hormones, that would calm the emotions, so organize the information of the soul. In Latin, to breathe, you may say spirare, spira. And that's the origin of the word spirit. So what is a spirit? A spirit is someone that breathes properly. So a spiritual person is the one that knows how to breathe. It's not about beings in the universe or whatever that. A spiritual person is the one that knows how to breathe. And that connects with the entire universe. Pay attention to how you breathe to order your chakras, to order your energy, everything. And the third one, which is for the spiritual realm, the higher self, is to laugh. Laughter is a key of high vibration. So when you laugh, the vibration goes higher. So anything that is down, you cannot feel it. So if you want to feel better in your life, you have to laugh more about the bad things and to be in a higher resonance all the time. So eat better, breathe better, and laugh more.
All right. Now, it's not about what you eat. It's about your mind's eye, or how my twin sister said in South Africa, it's about your ruach, your spirit, your heart. We want to do the right thing in your mind all the time. But if your heart is not in it, it doesn't count. You know? So people got to hear that. So, you know, a lot of people wish to be close to God, to draw to God, when they're not even hearing God. They're hearing something, but it's not the sound frequency of the Most High. let's get right into it. All right. So you can eat all the food you want, but if your mind and heart is not aligned, you cannot open to that access mystery. They call it kingdom mysteries in the Bible. Now we call it secrets of the universe. It's the same expression because the universe is God, you know? Don't know wickedness give you what you need or deserve. It says, I know if we reap what we sow, then obviously the universe is the most high. That's what they hid, talking about these other beings and stuff like that. They come after
All
the Dundada.
take place in consciousness. The future, although prepared in every detail in advance, has several outcomes. At every moment of our lives, we have before us the choice of which of several.
Shalom blessings, twin. Deidre Piter. Shalom blessings, Sonia Ford. Shalom blessings, Angela Perkins Davids. Make sure I greet all my family.
Futures we will choose.
The first dimension is pretty simple. A dot, a point, a singular state of being that holds no relativity. Nothing exists in relation to the first dimension. As soon as you start relating points to one another, we have entered into the second dimension. The second dimension, in a sense, is the dimension we have full understanding of. We encounter it everywhere we go. We often express ourselves in the second dimension through art or geometry. The second dimension is the shadow of everything in the third dimension. It holds relativity between the points in the first dimension and is easiest to symbolize as a line, length, and width. The third dimension.
Now, we have parallel universes, and in between our earth or life is these two worlds. We call them heaven above, hell below. Now, before earth, it just told you there was two accesses point, heaven and earth. It was 2 points, okay? And it said that heaven is the Dundada, it's the foundation, and earth is the shadow. Though I walk through the valleys of the shadow of death, he maketh me lie down in green pastures. It's nothing to do with grass or anything to do with the earth. It's telling you a regeneration of a reborn, and you're going to be back to the power position that you are in, is what Psalms is saying. It's talking about the chakras. So with that understanding, here we're just talking about heaven and the reflected of heaven, which is what we call earth. Let's continue.
Is where our senses reside. We live in the 3D. We encounter depth, height. The second dimension is like living on paper. You would have no concept of anything above the page. If you were in a page in a book, the pages beneath and above you would seemingly be non-existent. This is important to consider when we start assuming the higher dimensions. The fourth dimension goes beyond our senses and our natural mind of reasoning and logic. It is not present, for the new depth presented in the fourth dimension is time. The third dimension is always bounded by a linear understanding of time. The third dimension is always present and holds no future or past, but the fourth dimension does. It would be a non-linear interpretation of time, where past and future don't exist outside of present. Interestingly enough, we too have this ability, but it is outside of the natural mind. It can be perceived with our creative mind, our imagination. We're looking inwards to our thoughts. We can envision
Gotta take a
scenes
pause.
of the past.
Now, my man just told you in another way, in another descriptive way, that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not. You need your imagination to put something in your head that your eyeballs is not really seeing. How else do we activate the God gateway substance of melanin that produces the light power of God within us? If I'm telling you a lie, let's keep going.
Or dreams of the future. Remember that the 2D is a shadow, a cross-section of the third dimension, much as the first dimension is a cross-section of the second. This then can be rationalized that the 3D2 is a cross-section or shadow of the 4D. So, if we can direct our thoughts throughout time and realize them in the lower dimensions, why would you ever direct your thoughts toward negativity, as you would be subjected to them in your 3D experience? But remember that your 3D understanding of the world will only ever be witnessed in linear time. Whatever you believe in your thoughts will play out, but is the reason they don't pop into existence.
All changes take place in consciousness. The future, although prepared in every detail in advance, has several outcomes. At every moment of our lives, we have before us the choice of which of several futures we will choose. There are two actual outlooks on the world possessed by everyone, a natural focus and a spiritual focus. The ancient teachers called the one the carnal mind, the other the mind of Christ. We may differentiate them as ordinary waking consciousness, governed by our senses, and a controlled imagination, governed by desire.
The habit of seeing only that which our senses permit renders us totally blind to what we otherwise could see. To cultivate the faculty of seeing the invisible, we should often deliberately disentangle our minds from the evidence of the senses and focus our attention on an invisible state, mentally feeling it and sensing it until it has all the distinctness of reality. Earnest, concentrated thought, focused in a particular direction, shuts out other sensations and causes them to disappear. We have but to concentrate on the state desired in order to see it. The habit of withdrawing attention from the region of sensation and concentrating it on the invisible develops our spiritual outlook and enables us to penetrate beyond the world of sense and to see that which is invisible.
For the invisible
Promises
things
of God
Him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. Romans 1:20.
This vision is completely independent of the natural faculties. Open it and quicken it. Without it, these instructions are useless, for the things of the Spirit are spiritually discerned. A little practice will convince us that we can, by controlling our imagination, reshape our future in harmony with our desire. Desire is the mainspring of action. We could not move a single finger unless we had a desire to move it. No matter what we do, we follow the desire which at the moment dominates our minds. When we break a habit, our desire to break it is greater than our desire to continue.
Now, desire comes from the heart. The scriptures say, find a man's heart, you find the treasures. Bingo, the thoughts of man.
Continue in the habit. The desires which impel us to action are those that hold our attention. A desire is but an awareness of something we lack or need to make our life more enjoyable. Desires always have some personal gain in view. The greater the anticipated gain, the more intense is the desire. There is no absolutely unselfish desire. Where there is nothing to gain, there is no desire, and consequently, no action.
The key to progress in life and to the fulfillment of dreams lies in ready obedience to its voice. Unhesitating obedience to its voice is an immediate assumption of the wish fulfilled. To desire a state is to have it.
By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and then living and acting on this conviction, alters the future in harmony with your assumption. Assumptions awaken what they affirm. As soon as one assumes the feeling of his wish fulfilled, his four-dimensional self finds ways for the attainment of this end, discovers methods for its realization. With its larger outlook, the four-dimensional self then constructs the means necessary to realize the accepted end. The undisciplined mind finds it difficult to assume a state which is denied by the senses. Here's a technique that makes it easy to encounter events before they occur, to call things which are not seen as though they were. People have a habit of slighting the importance of simple things. But this simple formula for changing the future was discovered after years of searching and experimenting. The first step in changing the future of desire is define your objective. Know definitely what you want. Secondly, construct an event which you believe you would encounter following the fulfillment of your desire. An event which implies fulfillment of your desire. Something that will have the action of self-predominant. Thirdly, immobilize the physical body and induce a condition akin to sleep. Lie on a bed or relax in a chair and imagine that you are sleepy. Then, with eyelids closed and your attention focused on the action you intend to experience in imagination, mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action, imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action, here and now. You must always participate in the imaginary action, not merely stand back and look on, but you must feel that you are actually performing the action, so that the imaginary sensation is real to you. It is important always to remember that the proposed action must be one which follows the fulfillment of your desire. And also, you must feel yourself into the action until it has all the vividness and distinctness of reality.
Experience has taught me to restrict the imaginary action, to condense the idea which is to be the object of our meditation into a single act, and to reenact it over and over again until it has the feeling of reality.
A most effective way to embody a desire is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then, in a relaxed and sleepy state, repeat over and over again.
A gospel of God say, write it down, make it plain. See, some of y'all got some stuff that God gave you, but it's not manifesting because you never put it into the 3D image. Why you think they wrote scrolls and made it into a book called Bibles? Because they were manifesting what God gave them. What's the difference in your prophets being taken out of their body when they thought they were just going to go lay down and go to sleep and wake up the next day? Obviously, something took them up and said, hey, man, I got a higher power for you. Now, you can either listen to me and go tell the people what I'm telling you or not. Either way, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be some consequences. It's a consequence when you do good, and it's a consequence when you do bad, when you do ugly. So when we be reading, and the word of the Lord came to Daniel, and the word of the Lord came to Ezekiel, a lot of word of the Lord came to people, but they ain't listen. There were a few that listened, and there was a few that could see the glory of just the light energy. That's all I can tell you. Light, glory, energy, and some appearance of some things that wasn't the actual dundada. That's many doggone alter egos playing around with God. God did the same thing. He thought about us and played all the characters out. But he ain't us. He just shape-shifted into what's his and carried out an action in the many folks, animals, plants. Man, you can't even imagine God power. All right, we can't even keep up with him and us to ourselves, never mind trying to think everybody and everything. So, you know, he's having an experience through all of the atoms and molecules of carbon down here called the shadow of heaven, the holography, the hologram earth, the matrix. All right, it's a program. And you are the co-creator of this program. Now, God created all the good. You can doggone imagine what we created. Bad. He can't. He has nothing to repent for. So who created evil? There sure was no stupid angel named Satan, and we are gods over angels. That's out of order. God, angels, and then the co-creators. That don't even sound right. It's God, the gods, and then the angels. All right? And our thoughts, what we call the fallen ones, that's what create this nonsense. And we still doing it today in science, medicine, education, whatever you think out there that ain't really running by the power of the Holy Spirit. Have we clarified everything? So I'm BC the Tishvite, BC the Hebrew. keeping it true, keeping it short and simple. Shalom, blessings. Stay with your spiritual discernment and enjoy your Sabbath. Whatever God tell you to do, that's what you do upon the rest. Peace and blessings.